showing you another grass, but of course live in the grasslands. So this is known as blue stream grass or silver blue stream. You can see it all through this ditch here. And one thing that's a telltale sign is silver blue stream is this soft fluffy top where the seeds are. And as most grasses, you can eat these seeds as well as turn it into cordage. There's not much else you can do with this. This is an excellent erosion control grass. So I wanted to show you a pretty cool plant. It retains basically every quality of its greater version besides the telltale tops, and it's called lesser cattails. You can see all this right here. This is lesser cattails. Good sign it's lesser cattails. So there's the tops they get. But you can still use this stuff for cordage. You can eat the shoots. It's got antiseptic qualities in the sap. Now I'll show you right there is some greater cattails. They don't have their telltale corn dog tops on them, which is an excellent source of fire, as well as you can eat those when they're green. The greater cattail, there is 1 to 2 parts of it edible at all times of the year. And on the greater cattails, for sure, when you peel the leaves back, there is a kind of like a sliminess in there, kind of a slimy jelly clear liquid, and that has excellent antiseptic qualities. The baby shoots of both the greater and the lesser cattail are edible, and they taste pretty good grilled as well. So, hey guys, I realized I forgot to mention a couple things about the greater cattails. So greater cattails you can use as hand drills or bow drills if you're careful. They make makeshift halfway decent arrows as well. So, and cordage, you can make cordage from them. You can weave baskets and make shoes and such with them. So there's quite a few uses for the greater cattail. Here's an interesting type of grass. The seeds are very, very small on this. You could, I guess, if you collected a lot of them, you could eat the seeds technically, but they're so tiny it's not really worth it. Kind of similar to, you know, if you're gonna collect foxtail grass seeds, those are pretty small. The advantage of foxtail seeds is you can get quite a few off of one head. But this grass is known as squirrel-tail grass. You can see it here. There's a bunch of it back over here. But as all the grasses, you can do with it as you can every other one. Guys, sorry about the wind, but I wanted to show you guys another type of ryegrass that we get here in Kansas, and it's known as perennial ryegrass, and that's right there. And if you look, these almost look like little saw blades on here, but if you look close, I can get this to focus. There you go. Those are all your little seeds. Pretty pokey, but you can use it like you can all other grasses. So here's a pretty cool plant that is related to the lesser and greater cattails, and it's known as bulrush. So bulrush, you can eat the young shoots just like you could on cattails. You can eat them raw or cooked. You can eat the old shoots. On old shoots and on the cattails too, I would take off the outer layers of them just because that's going to be a little bit more tough than the inside. The the roots or the tubers down underneath you can eat on the bulrush, as well as the seeds. You can eat those cooked or raw. They kind of have a nutty flavor. But this is some bulrush for you, or green bulrush, I think is the correct name. And as it matures, this top here, this will turn brown, and these are where your seeds would be. I wanted to show you another type of ryegrass. Now this, I think it's Canadian ryegrass because it's got a lot longer tails than your the other one. I think is Virginia ryegrass, I think. But I think this is Canada ryegrass. You can see it right here. But like all the ryegrasses, the seeds are a little bit smaller than wheat, but you can use them just as you could wheat or any type of barley, as well as turn it in cordage. Use the grasses as well, and I haven't mentioned this, but you can use all the grasses as well to make baskets and do weaving and weave mats, and as well as make blankets and clothes out of them, and they would retain excellent insulation qualities. I wanted to show you the Canadian drygrass or ryegrass at a couple different stages. So here you go as it's getting more mature, and here is even more mature, and right here is getting pretty close to being ready to collect the seeds from it. Hey guys, so here is a look-alike plant to purslane. Now, purslane is wonderful. This plant is not. You do not want to ingest this plant. This plant is toxic. It's known as spurge. This is spurge right here. More of it. The telltale way to differentiate between spurge and purslane is purslane has more round of a leaf on here. If you look at these are pretty narrow. Purslane's more of a round leaf. Purslane also has a lighter green colored leaf that is somewhat hairy. Almost gives it a shine to the middle. But this is spurge, and it is the poisonous look-alike to purslane. Hey guys, so I finally found one of these. It's not a good example, so I will put a picture of this up here in a little bit. But this is known as purslane. Now purslane looks very similar to spurge, which you just saw, as you can see here. But the difference is in the leaves. See if I can get that to focus on that leaf. It might not because it's at night, but these leaves have a slight shine to them. But purslane is high in vitamins and minerals. This stuff tastes excellent. I love eating this stuff. But make sure you're eating purslane and not its poisonous look-alike spurge. Purslane, it also has little hairs on the leaves as well as on the stems. But the leaves are much more oval shaped compared to its poisonous look-alike spurge. But here is a better picture of purslane right now. Hey guys, wanted to show you another type of knotweed that we get out here almost everywhere. The correct name for it's prostrate knotweed. But as the other knotweeds, it's astringent, so you can use it on wounds. But the cool thing about this type of knotweed is you can take it internally for internal wounds, as well as it'll help with diarrhea and some other types of stomach issues. And you can turn the leaves into a tea, which has a lesser effect than just eating it. But you can eat the leaves, the shoots, raw or cooked, as well as the seeds. Now, the seeds on this are really small, like a lot of the grasses, so there wouldn't really be a point in eating them. But you know, if you were going to add them to something, some other types of flour and things, you know, to make pancakes or flatbread or something like that, you could use the seeds for that. And I'll show you what this plant looks like. That's prostrate knotweed. Very common out here. Here's some more of it right there. Actually, the entire young plant above ground is edible. Guys, so I found some more mature buffalo berry that has the pods on it, and I wanted to show you how prickly these things are. See, it's starting to get the pods there. Here's some you can see a lot better. Now these spines, they're sticky, but they're flexible. But those are the pods that will come on after the buffalo berry blooms out. Here's an even bigger buffalo berry here. But you can see it is nothing like its bigger relative that has the red berries on it. Now remember what I was talking to you guys about? Plants growing spines out here so that they're just not ate by every herbivore that comes along. Well, if you can see, this is in the horse pen here, and they've pretty much ate almost everything down except the buffalo berries. Well, why they haven't ate the buffalo berries down is because of all the spines on it. Alright guys, so here's another plant that is edible, very similar to its cousin, the sandbur, and around here we call these goat heads. Now if you think stepping on a Lego is bad, try stepping on one of these suckers barefoot. The heads are not coming on yet, but this is the plant here. And you can eat the, for sure you can eat the seeds, just like you could on the sandburs. See, there's a bigger one there, starting to put the blooms on. Now here you can see the goat heads. These are not mature yet, but when these suckers are mature, they are little devils, let me tell you. They hurt when you get these stabbed in you. Guys, I'm gonna try to block the wind for you, but it's really hard to do out here. So I wanted to show you guys a type of field bindweed. Now this is, I believe, a relative to morning glories. Now the field bindweeds, the field bindweeds, you can eat the young shoots, the leaves, the flowers, the seeds, rhizomes, but it was used a lot in the past. A lot of different cultures use this plant. But I do know, however, it contains a lot of alkaloids and things. So just be careful with it. You know, just because a lot of plants were used in the past as edibles and medicinals does not mean that they can be used today. Mankind has developed a lot of allergies to certain things because we do not use the plants as much as we used to. So just be careful, you know, when you're using plants. If you don't know if it's edible or not, there's a good way to do that. And so what you need to do is you need to first take that plant and rub it on your skin, just in a small area, and wait 30 minutes to an hour and see if you break out. If you don't break out, then take some and just set it in your mouth for a second, and just kind of swish around it and take it out. But don't swallow. Just see if anything happens in your mouth. If you got a tingly feeling, if you start to swell up, anything like that. And you know, you want to wait, you know, 30 minutes to an hour after that. But then you want to take a small portion of it and chew it up in your mouth. Chew it up, get all the oils and stuff out of it. But don't swallow, and do the same thing again. You know, wait 30 minutes to an hour. And if everything's still okay, then you can possibly eat a small amount of it. And I would just start with a small amount, and you would want to wait longer than an hour if it were me, just to make sure you don't have any after effects and such of it. Now with the wild plants, you know, or any plants you eat, you don't want to gorge yourself on them anyway. So you would always want to eat small quantities, and, you know, eat a little bit of this plant, a little bit of this plant, a little bit of this plant, not a bunch of one thing. But I'll show you this this version of the plant we get out here. You can see it's got a white bloom on it. Our field bindweed out here. Some versions, they'll have some purple colors in here on the leaves, or the flowers, excuse me. But, you know, the Chinese have been using this for thousands of years. They'll take the leaves and grind them up and such, and make drinks and things out of them. That is field bindweed. See a whole patch of it growing here. Hey guys, so I wanted to show you a plant that is all over the US, and it also has many different varieties of itself as well. And it's known as verbena. The one we get out here has a purple flower. Now, medicinally, I don't know of any. You could probably eat the young shoots and leaves, but they're somewhat toxic, I've read in the past, so I wouldn't really mess with it. Medicinally though, it's been used to treat colds and coughs and, you know, respiratory issues. But I do know one thing the natives used to use this plant for a lot, and that was to treat insect bites, you know, itchy rashes, burns on the skin. They would make a poultice out of the young leaves and the shoots and such, and put it on those, and it's supposed to work very good. And I'll show you this plant. I just saw it a second. Here you go. Right there. See, it's got a light purpley colored flower. It's got that classic verbena top, you know, that the general prostrate verbenas have. But that is verbena. Talk to you about another source of food when you're out foraging for plants that you can forage as well, and it is very abundant and it's high in protein. Now, I would suggest that you cook them, just because nowadays of all the pesticides and things like that, I would suggest that you cook these, but they're known as grasshoppers. And if you look, you might be able to see them all over out here. But those are an excellent source of protein, as well as they can be used as bait to catch fish, which is a bigger source of protein, or used as bait in other types of traps for land creatures, because fish are not the only thing that will eat a grasshopper. Everything up to the size of probably a coyote will eat a grasshopper. And this goes for crickets as well. Crickets, in my opinion, taste a little better than grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are definitely easier to catch and find. So when you're out looking for your plants, if you're actually out there in the bush, don't pass up all these little jumping sacks of protein everywhere. They could save your life. Hey guys, sorry about the wind, but I want to talk to you about a plant. Now this plant is used to feed livestock. It's been used for hundreds of years to feed livestock. But what a lot of people don't know about this plant is that, you know, most of it's edible for us, and it's actually pretty nutritious as well. So this can aid in your digestive system. It can help regulate that, as well as cholesterol issues, blood issues. It's very healthy plant. You can eat it. It tastes better if you eat it young. At least when I've tried it, it tastes better at the young stage, the younger leaves, the younger shoots. But it can be edible at all stages of its life, as well as provide insulation and such in a primitive home or something like that. And this plant is known as alfalfa. And here is some alfalfa right here. You can see some more of it growing over there. It's a little bit taller. And I saw some right there. There's some right there. And some there. So, and it does not taste very bad. It's a pretty good plant. And I've also read where the natives used to make teas out of it. Guys, I came over here to show you a plant, and I wanted to show you another prairie critter, and that is the prairie rattlesnake. So let's hope when I go over to show you that he doesn't. So as you know, I just saw that rattlesnake. A little tip on when you're stomping through stuff like this time of year is to make sure you stomp, make lots of noise, don't move too fast. It'll give them a chance to alert before you get to them. So alright guys, the plant I want to show you, I call it cholla, and this is cholla here. It's a type of cactus. Now there's a couple cool things about cholla. So these needles here, they are stiff enough you can use these as sewing needles. Okay, now these will put on, and you want to collect them in the spring, but they will put on these new shoots. You can see them here. These have already flowered out. There's some more up here. So in the spring, the early spring, you can collect those and you can cook them and eat them. Now eventually those will turn into the cholla fruit. Now you can eat the cholla fruit when it's ripe. Oh, you can eat the flowers as well, but the cholla fruit. So you do not want to eat more than, I would say, probably 5 or 6, because you will get diarrhea. It's okay to eat 1 or 2 here and there, but I wouldn't eat a bunch of them. They will make you somewhat sick and you will be on the toilet all day. But this is cholla. Another neat thing about cholla, so when some of these shoots dry, these long ones, you can use them to make knife handles. You can use them as walking sticks. They also are an excellent source of burning material out here in the grasslands. As well as, I think the natives, They used to grind up the poultice that was inside of this and use it on boils and burns and such, as well as the needles. They used to grind up the needles and use those for something. I can't remember what exactly they used them for, but there's a few good uses for the cholla plant. But these young here, these young stems, collect those in the spring, cook them up. They're pretty tasty. I like them. Oh yeah, and I've already shown you guys prickly pear and talked about it, and I wanted to show you the green prickly pears. And you'll want to collect these in late summer to fall, and they will be a bright red to a deep dark red color, and they are delicious. And here you can see some of the young patties coming on. Oh, here's a pretty neat plant. Desert tobacco. Now, like most plants, you know, you can make cordage out of the fibers in the stalk. But one thing the natives would do is they would chew on the leaves. And some of you may know about tobacco plants, but it's very similar to chewing on coca leaves. So when you eat those, or not eat them, but chew on the leaves, it will alleviate hunger, and you can just keep going and going and going. There's Justin. Looks like he's actually chewing on them. Here's some more. But they would also smoke it, as well as make a drink out of it. And I want to say, I remember reading once that you can eat the flowers on tobacco plants. And here's a flower right here. Let me get out of your sun. Desert tobacco. Hey guys, just wanted to show you an update on a prickly pear. We've got a early one that's almost ripe. You can see that deep red color they get. Now, a nice way that I like to see if they're pretty ripe to eat is I'll take my pinky and stick them right here in the end and wiggle it like that. And if it falls off pretty easy, it's good to go. But I wouldn't eat this one because looking at the back side there, it could have some worms or something. So, but that's the color that you'll want to look for when all these green start to ripe up. Hey guys, sorry about the wind, but here's some snow on the prairie, fire on the prairie. It's in the spurge family, which means it's going to be most likely toxic, and this is toxic. It's astringent. It's been used in the past by the natives, but it's one of those that you need to be pretty careful with just because it's toxic. Some people just touching the plant can be an irritant on the skin. So that's snow on the prairie. Hey guys, so I was talking to you guys about thistle in some of my other videos, and I wanted to show you that fluffy top that you can use as a fire starter. So you can see this is dried hard there. Well, inside of here is nice fluffy. And you can use this and it works about every bit as good as cattail fluff would.